Hi class, how are you guys? I hope you're doing well. So today I'm going to make a video for Module 4 and this is going to be for lessons 10 and 11. So this is going to be a video that reviews some of the vocabulary that we've learned, and it's also going to have questions for you guys to answer. So we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and present this slideshow to you, and then I'm going to share it with you on Google Classroom. Once I share it with you on Google Classroom, you're going to be able to have your own copy of the slideshow to follow along with the video, and then you'll be able to edit the slideshow and submit that as your assignment. That way, we don't even need to use any paper. If you are not able to do that, you can go ahead and write this down on a piece of paper and submit it to me. But I just thought it would be nice if you guys can just go ahead and edit it, and then you can submit it on Google Classroom and I can grade it right away. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So a little bit of the vocabulary and concepts that we had learned before was talking about the groups of tens. Remember that when we see these long sticks like these, that they are made up of 10 cubes. So these are tens. Also, right here, we have our ones. There's the mouse. We have the ones right here, and if you look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 ones. We can represent the number 10 in this way. Another way we can represent 10 is by drawing a quick 10. Remember in class we would draw on our boards, and sometimes we were trying to draw fast, so you guys would draw quick 10s to represent the tens place. Also, we represent 10 with 10 frames. We know that when we are adding or subtracting, we can add circles, and once we fill up the frame, we know that we have 10. We also have 10 represented in groups of 10, and we're going to be using this a lot today. So you see there is 10 fries in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 fries. We're going to be using this today, and we're going to be using these today. We are also going to be looking at problems that have dimes. So remember that one way to show 10 is to show 10 cents. So we have a dime right here. So we have the back of the dime and we have the front of the dime. So if we see a picture of this, we know that we're talking about 10. Another way that we can represent 10 is by looking at the 10 pennies. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, another vocabulary term that we learned was using number bonds. Remember that number bonds are a picture and they show parts of a whole. So for example, we have the number 8 right here and we make a number bond. So we think of two numbers that we can add, so two numbers that we can put together to make the number 8. So the person right here came up with the number 5 and the number 3, and they made a number bond for the number 8. So we're going to be using some of these number bonds today. One other thing that we learned is that we can have numbers represented with words. So for example, right here, I have 3 tens and 9 ones. If I wanted to figure out what number this was making, I would first start by drawing my 9 ones. I always start with the ones place. So right here, I have 9 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 ones. And then I can start by drawing out my 3 tens. Remember in the beginning of the video, my 3 tens are those long pulls. There you go. So if I wanted to go ahead and count this, I would count these by 10, and I would count these by 1. Remember that we can't count these by 10 because they're not 10s, they're 1s. So we're going to say 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. So this number right here, this drawing, is the same thing as this number in words. So the number we are talking about is 39, and here we see it shown in two different ways. So the next thing we also learned how to do is to sort the tens into ones into their place. So we started with sorting the ones. So we go ahead and we count the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I place the number 8 in the ones place. And then I go ahead and I count the tens. 1, 2, 3. So then I put the tens and the ones together, and I make the number 38. Another vocabulary term that we talked about and we've been using in our math problems are the greater than and less than sign. So remember that we use these signs to compare numbers. And remember, we think of these as like alligator mouths. So we think of it, the little alligator is always going to go ahead and eat the biggest alligator. So when you have two numbers on each side, the little one is always going to eat the bigger one. So your hand, your little your sign can change from this way, or you can go ahead and change it this way. So you're going to use the greater than sign or the less than sign. I remember, I think it was last week when we had one of our talks, it was David that was saying that his dad helped him put the greater than and less than signs by putting letters on them. So he would put like an L for less than and a G for greater than so that he could remember which sign they were and what they were called and how to use them. So I thought that was a really great idea, and I thought it was a really good tip if you guys wanted to go ahead and do that to your signs. The other term that we will be using is the equal. So we are going to be talking about equal parts. So when we put numbers together and we find the total, when we make them equal each other, when we balance it like it shows in this picture, then we can use the equal sign. So we have to make a true number sentence. So I see 3 plus 4, and you see 3 balls right here, and then you see 4. So let's count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I see 7 balls right here. And on the other side, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 balls on the left-hand side and 7 balls on the right-hand side. So they equal each other. If you look, this is a balance beam, and the weight is equal because they are the equal number. So we're going to be using this today, as you guys have been using it in your problem sets. So we're going to start with the lesson 10 objective, which is we're going to be able to use the greater than, less than, and equal symbols to compare quantities and numerals. So that means that we're going to be able to use it to compare numbers. So for our first math problem that you guys are going to complete, you guys are going to compare two numbers and use the greater than, less than, or equal to sign. And you guys are going to be able to place it in here on Google Classroom. You'll be able to have your own slide, so you'll be able to place the numbers in here and label it. So right here, you're going to go ahead and start by counting the quantities, and then you are going to use either the words greater than, less than, or equal to, and you're going to write them in here, and you're going to draw the greater than or less than signs to compare these two numbers. So this is going to be the first problem you guys are going to be able to complete. So if you are doing this on a sheet of paper, you can go ahead and pause it, or if not, you can do it on Google Slides or Google PowerPoint, I believe. For question 2, we're going to do the same thing, but now we're seeing the number in word form and the number in drawing form. So first, you're going to have to figure out how many each has. So you're going to have to label them. Well, you don't have to label them, but you can write them down. and then you can use the greater than, less than, or equal to sign and place it right in here. So you should be able to go ahead and just type it in there and it should work. And then you are going to use your word bank and you're going to tell me which words go where. So for some parts, you're going to write a number and then you're going to write greater than, less than, or equal to, and then you're going to write another number right here. So question 3 is going to look a little bit different. So you're going to see the number in word form, and then you're also going to see the number in coin form. That's why I went over the coins at this beginning of this video so that we could remember how much the coins were worth. So make sure that you count your pennies and make sure that you count your dimes and that you see and write down what number we are talking about and compare the two. And you're going to use your word bank right here. So you're going to put a number here, the word from the word bank, and another number over here. So for lesson 11, we were learning how to add and subtract tens from a multiple of 10. So basically we have groups of 10 and we're either adding by 10 or we're taking away by 10. So right here, we have a group of 10 right here. Ooh, another group of 10, and then we're going to be adding it. So it means we're putting these together. So right here I have 2 10s. There we go. And then I have 1 10. So all in total, I have 1, 2, 3. 3 10s. So remember that these are groups of 10. So I have to count them by 10. So I would start right here. 10, 20, 30. So we have the number 30 right here. And then we're going to be using our number bonds. Remember that number bonds are parts of a number. So you have to break down the number into 2 parts. And you're going to add those parts. That means you're going to put those parts together to make that whole number. So right here, we have the number 30, and we're drawing number bonds. And the number bond that I made was the number 20 and the number 10. So the number 20 and the number 10 add up together and they make the number 30. And in order to do this, I'm going to need to also make sure that I write a full sentence. So I'm going to write my full sentence for this math problem. So I have 2 10s plus 1 10 equal 3 10s. So I can put equal 3 10s or I can just put equal 30. Other types of problems that we're going to be seeing in this review are going to be subtraction problems. So that means that we are taking away. That means that we are making the number smaller. We are taking away from the main quantity. So right here, we have a group of 10, another group of 10. I see 3 groups of 10. So I see 10, 20, 30. Oh, but there's an X. There's a big X over this 10. So that means that we are taking away. That means that I'm looking at a subtraction problem. So if I take it away, that means I'm not going to count it. So I'm going to start at the beginning and find my answer. So I have 10, 20. I don't count that one. So my total is 20. So I would represent that by writing 3 10s because I had 3 10s first, minus 1 10. So the 1 10 that I took away right here equal to, how many 10s do I have here? How many 10s do not have the X? 2 10s. And that equals, like we said, 10, 20. 20, but don't forget that I need to make sure that I add my number bonds. So any 2 numbers that can add up to the number 20. Right here I'm drawing my number bonds. You have to make sure you draw those. And I chose the number 10 and the number 10. So 10 and 10 add up to 20. But I could have written 15 and 5, and that still would have been 20. And we have to make sure that we write our full sentence to represent our answer. So our full sentence is 3 10s minus 1 10 equals 2 10s. Now we're going to go ahead and look at question 4. So right here, I see groups of 10 plus more groups of 10. So you're going to have to add these up. You're going to have to count them first, and you're going to tell me how many groups of 10 do you see here? And then you're going to write that down. So I see how many 10s here, plus, because we have the plus sign, so we would circle plus, or we could erase minus. And then we have this number right here, so we have to write how many 10s do we have here? And you're going to write the answer. And then you're going to represent it in a number, and you're going to make sure to do your number bonds for it. Question 5 is another addition problem. So I can see right here more groups of 10 plus these groups of 10 right here. And you should be able to just type in your answers in these circles and make sure that you have your sentence written correctly. Here we have question 6. It looks like the fries have multiplied. We have so many groups of 10, but I am confident that you guys will be able to count them and do your number bonds and write your number sentences. So go ahead and pause the video if you are doing this on a sheet of paper, or continue working on it on the slideshow. For problem 7, you can see that there are X's on the groups of 10. So that means that we are getting rid of them. We are not adding them. We're not putting them together. We are taking them apart. So we are subtracting. We are taking them away. So we have a group of 10. We have a lot of groups of 10. We're going to count those, and then we're going to take these away. And you're going to be able to write a number sentence for this. And you're going to be able to write the numbers right here and make sure you do your number bonds as well. Now we're going to go ahead and look at question 8, and we see a lot of groups of 10. So we're going to go ahead and count all of the groups of 10 first, and then we're going to take away the ones that have X's. We're going to go ahead and put them in our number sentence right here. We're going to put them in here. You should be able to just type it, and then you're going to be able to make a number bond for them, and you're going to put the parts in here. Question 9 and 10 are going to look a little bit different. They're going to look like the last questions on the problem set 11. So basically, you are going to fill in the missing numbers. So we are adding groups of 10s. We're only adding by 10s if you've noticed. And we are going to fill in the answer. So you're going to add these two numbers, and you're going to tell me what they add up to. You're putting the numbers together. What do they make when you put them together? Then right here, this is telling you 10 plus another number is going to equal 50. So 10 plus what number are we going to have to put in here to make it 50? So you're going to be able to type your answer in there and fill in the missing number. For question 10, this is the same thing. So you're going to tell me what two numbers can you put together to add up to 60. So there is so many combinations for this right here, but remember that we are working in 10s. So we are only going to write them in groups of 10. Right here, we have 9 10s minus 2 10s equals how many 10s? So I want you to tell me how many 10s it equals, and then I want you to also write the number down, okay? I want you to show me what that number looks like. So you guys are going to be able to submit this on Google Classroom, and you guys will be able to submit this in writing on paper if you are not able to do it on Google Classroom.